All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the Washington Commanders in today's video, folks. This team is so freaking fun, and I get it. It's just OTAs. It's just mini camp, blah, blah, blah. Cry me a freaking river. I love football. I know you guys do too. And if you're a Commanders fan watching this video right now, you're freaking amped up as you freaking should be, dude. Like, this team is so unbelievably fun. It is such a fresh breath of air compared to the past previous seasons. I don't know actually really how Commanders fans at this point feel about Ron Rivera, but I like the dude. I like Sam Howell, but hey, Jayden Daniels is the future of this team. They had a great offseason. Adam Peters has changed so much about this squad, and it's just genuinely such a different vibe, such a different energy, and I can't wait, and I know you guys can't either. So before we get into it, if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We've been posting a bunch of Commanders videos. We're going to ramp it up because this is the perfect time for speculation as training camp begins around a month from the time of this recording. But I do just want to go through a couple of things I found interesting before I get into some things the Commanders could potentially look into to improve even further. I did just see this tweet like a minute ago from Warren Sharp. The Commanders allowed 125 points in the first quarter of games last year. That's over one touchdown per first quarter. It's just crazy. It's the most since over a decade. In fact, it's the most since the Redskins allowed 126 first quarter points back in 2013. So Dan Quinn's going to get that fixed immediately. I remember actually, I don't know why, but I remember starting Sam Howell in a couple of games last season, and any time after the first quarter is like 0-14, I was licking my chops a little bit, but neither here nor there anyways. I do want to say Washington Commanders head coach Dan Quinn, this is a headline, thrilled with the guys after offseason program. Jayden Daniels, and we're about to get an excerpt here, looks the part, and once again, man, I know it's mini camp. I know it's just like, I know we're not even in training camp. We're not even in preseason. I know it's OTAs, man. But you can tell this dude has, I hate how overused this word is right now, but Jayden Daniels clearly has an aura. I mean, he won the freaking Heisman last season. Like, he's got this confident, cool, calm, but a swagger to him that you just got to feel really good about. But Jayden Daniels reportedly has looked as advertised. So here's what Commanders reporter John Keem said about Jayden Daniels. Daniels never looked overmatched or confused during spring practices, which is a key reason the Commanders had him working exclusively with the first group in mandatory minicamp. Daniels impressed teammates and coaches with how prepared he was, a byproduct in part of showing up every day at 5:45 a.m. for film work, jeez, and his own walkthrough session. But he looked sharp throwing the ball with anticipation, and in how he has gone through his progression. So far, he is exactly the player they thought they had drafted. This is awesome. I was just actually listening to Tom Brady, or not Tom Brady. I was just listening to some observations. Justin Fields, I know this is Steelers talk. Justin Fields was throwing footballs to Route God or whoever that is. That kind of feels blasphemous to say, but he's just so slow. He's just so late. You can't really teach anticipation, and I think it might actually be a debate to NFL media world on who day one, week one starter is going to be for the Commanders. I see no reason it won't be Jayden Daniels. He is the future of this franchise, folks. Barely won football games last season, right? 4 wins. That win total, I guarantee you, will be doubled. And if it isn't, it's going to be 7. All right. Washington, I don't care about the division. I don't care about the Cowgirls, the Eagles, the Giants. I guess they're not much of a threat, but you get what I'm saying. Washington's going to be competitive in every or majority of football games that they play this upcoming season. Granted, Jayden is a rookie. It is a young team. You got a bunch of new faces. The first month might be a little bit inconsistent, shaky at times, but you're going to see plenty of flashes. So I was reading an article, and it was going through all 32 teams in the NFL, and it kind of gave them like a to-do list. And for the Commanders, we saw 3 of these, and I just kind of want to give my takes on it. Add offensive linemen, make a move for wide receiver, and sign a cornerback. Now, We'll talk about it one by one. We'll get into the offensive alignment. So here it was, the excerpt. The Commanders gave up the second most sacks, 65 in the league during the regular season last year, and just spent the number 2 overall pick on Jayden Daniels. While the front office made moves to improve the offensive line during free agency, the team shouldn't stop adding players who can protect the future of the franchise in his first season. I mean, depth is never like a bad thing. I think Allegretti and I really think Tyler Biadasz is huge, but I briefly looked into the offensive lineman market. There isn't really anything that got me moving. Like, I don't even have a name for you guys. I just want to say, like, Jayden Daniels reminds me a lot of Anthony Richardson, and this has nothing to do with my opinion on the offensive line because I just listened to Tom Brady talk about this yesterday. Like, you can't make a bad offensive line good. So much of your offensive line is just straight up coaching. And it's just like, you need to build this bond, this chemistry with your teammates. Like, there's a lot of intangibles with building a good offensive line. So, in my opinion, it's going to come down to the offensive line coaching. But I really think Tyler Biadasz was a huge move, but you have to protect Jayden. Obviously, he has to keep himself safe and clean out there. But once again, he reminds me very similarly of Anthony Richardson. And the last thing I want to hear from you guys, your thoughts on adding offensive linemen. But it's just very like, if I don't even want to say this out loud, but if this happens like it happened to Anthony Richardson in week 4 last season, I would be just absolutely devastated. I know you guys would be too. So he's got to stay protected. I just wanted to throw that in there. Now, we got make a move at wide receiver. Now, here was the excerpt. On a similar note, Washington should look into giving Daniels another weapon via trade or a free agent signing. Outside of Scary Terry, the Commanders' receiving core is rather uninspiring, so throwing another pass catcher into the mix could help the rookie quarterback and offense as a whole to hit the ground running. I actually fully agree with this. They do have some really nice guys deeper down in the depth chart. I get it, Jahan Dotson's barely been in the league, but he's been fairly inconsistent. I don't really think any of the receivers, Scary Terry or Jahan, have really had like a consistent, reliable quarterback or offensive line or coach for that matter. So I think it will be a lot cleaner next year. We got slot receiver Luke McCaffrey, the rookie, slated as your slot receiver. But I did look into guys like Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas. I wouldn't hate a move for a guy like Russell Gage. He did get injured last season. He didn't play a down in the regular season with Tampa Bay. His last season played in 2022, 51 catches, 426 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaged a little over 8 yards per catch. I would expect, like, if I were to wake up tomorrow and Washington signs this dude, I would expect actually like identical numbers. Scary and Jahan are your future, hopefully, receiving core. So, I don't need to make a crazy move. Hunter Renfrow kind of worries me. Michael Thomas kind of worries me. But I did just want to throw this in here. We saw Jayden Daniels and Brandon Ayuk kind of FaceTime recently, and the Commanders are named one of the 5 teams as a logical landing spot for Brandon Ayuk. So, once again, I actually don't even really expect Washington to make a move at the wide receiver position before the start of the regular season. But I do think I don't think it'll happen this year. But I do think next offseason, Washington will make a big-time move for a dude like Brandon Ayuk, whether it's trade or free agency or something like that, once we have a full season of, Jayden Daniels and what he did with what he has. So we don't have enough time for signing a quarterback. I got to get going here. Stephon Gilmore could be something to look into. I love a lot of the young guys. I get it. There's some question marks with the defensive back room. So that's it for today. Let me know, guys. Are you signing an offensive lineman? Give me your thoughts on the O-line and give me your thoughts on the wide receiver room. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Even though it is Thursday, we'll see you soon.